My name's Pedro LaTorre. I started Hope in Motion about 6 years ago. I was trying to play professional baseball. I got injured. I tore my shoulder up pretty bad. Doctors say you'll never play baseball again. And I just began to make a life change. I didn't know what to do or where to turn. I met a young person in a Starbucks. He just began to share his story with me and telling me about all the things he was going through in his life. And I just listened. I didn't really have words to say. I didn't really know how to fix his problems. I just knew that I needed to listen. And that's really where Hope in Motion began, in a Starbucks, me deciding, man, there's a generation of people probably like this young person who just needs somebody who will listen to him.
And it saved me. It saved my life, like, completely. If he wouldn't have come to my school that day, that Wednesday, I wouldn't be alive right now. I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you guys. Like, I wouldn't be doing anything.
But listen to me. If I allow my circumstances to dictate my future, I'm a product now of my environment. If I allow my choices to dictate my future, I'm now a product of my choice. I want to be a product of my choice. Anybody else want to be a product of your choice and not your circumstances? Some of you guys are coming up in rough homes. You got rough things going on in your life. Listen, it's simple. Make a choice every day. I'm not going to be like my father or my mother. If they're bad people, they're bad people. You don't have to down them. You don't have to look down on them. But you have to choose to become better. You have to let everything in life fuel you to become better. There's a guy some of you might know by the name of Muhammad Ali. He got into a really intense fight. He was in the ring and he's fighting and he's fighting, and he gets punched in the jaw. You don't see it much. He gets punched, his neck turned, and he falls on the ground, spit coming out of his mouth, blood coming out of his mouth. It was the first time he'd ever been knocked on the ground. Muhammad Ali laid on the ground. He goes back and wins the fight. At the end of the interview, they interview him at the end of the fight, and they say, hey, what were you thinking while you were down on the ground and you got knocked out? And they were trying to throw it in his face. He goes, oh, that's simple. He straightens out his jaw and he says, the ground is no place for a champion. Listen to me carefully. The ground is no place for a champion. Some of you feel like you're on the ground. I came all the way from Los Angeles, California to tell you this. Despite your circumstances, despite what you're going through, you can either choose to use that junk as a foundation to build something greater, or you can use it to let it take you under. It's your choice. It's nobody else's choice. Your grades, they're your choice. Listen, I had terrible grades when I was a student. I had a 1.7 GPA. It means I showed up and ate pizza. That's all I knew how to do, y'all. So I built my life on my dream of making it as an athlete. Some of you are building your lives on music and dreams and all these things. They're good. Keep dreaming, keep working, keep building. But listen to me carefully. Your character is the brightest thing that the world will see. And so if you're building your life on a thing called sports, on a thing called a girl, listen, at one point in your life, all those things are going to become shaky. And it's like building your life on sinking sand. You have to build your life on something stronger. And you have to choose to be something greater.
So I started to feel down on myself. I started wearing baggy clothes and not trying to look pretty or dress up. And then I started cutting myself. I thought, you know, maybe I'll just end it. Maybe I'll just forget about life, really, and just kind of end it. And I was like, I can't do it anymore. I can't. It's like too much. So I thought to myself, you know what? I'll give it one more day. One more day, that's it. And I'll see if somebody really shows me that they love me and that everything will be okay, then I'll stay alive. During like around second period, they were like, you gotta see this. And they gave me the little card that said Hope in Motion on it. And I was like, what is this? I'm not understanding. I could really relate to how Pedro was feeling with that at home, how things were struggling, like he was struggling with family and everything. It was like helping me, making me feel like, wow, other people are going through this, like, really? Like, there really is? And then they started getting into like, you're not worthless, nobody's worthless, ever.
Because I know who I am. I know who's writing my story. And I know that how many times I've got beat down, put down, and let down, that I have to get back up. And I'll go to the next school, and the next school, and the next school, because there's girls like the one who tried to kill herself by drowning herself in that pool, who walked into my presentation and said, Pedro, no one's ever told me what you told me today. No one's ever encouraged me like you did today. Our desire as a team is that they leave feeling like they're here for a purpose. We want young people to know that life was not meant to just be lived, but it was meant to be lived in a furious, passionate way. And so we want them to know, man, I'm gonna wake up tomorrow, I'm gonna live full of joy, I'm gonna live full of life. And we want them to know that they can. They don't have to be afraid, they don't have to be bound by fear, frustration, anger, or circumstances. We want them to know that, man, I can live my life fully today.
So the presentation was Great Hope in Motion. Thank you very much for coming. The kids had a great time. You put a smile on my principal's face, and I'm looking forward to seeing you guys again. Thank you.